Recently, Kramnik has been accusing every single person in the world of cheating in chess. I don't know if you've seen all the Danya drama, but that is just being blown out of proportion and it's crazy.
I saw something, yeah, then I started to ask players.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Danya is cheating? Do you think Kramnik is right? Today we're going to look at last time Magnus and Kramnik played on chess.com. This is the last time their official accounts played. Title Tuesday. Let's go. Kramnik opens with e4. Magnus responds with h6. What a legend! I love it! Because of all the crap that Kramnik comes out with, I don't think Magnus really cares about him, so he just smacks out a h6 just to mock him. Although really, the h6 opening is actually pretty good because it puts people out of theory. Kramnik goes d4 and tries to take more of the center. Like, you can tell he's really trying to win this game, which is what makes it even more funny. Magnus goes e6 and now he's starting to play the game. It would be so funny if he just went like a6. That move is actually not that bad. Knight c3, a6. It's actually a legit move at this point, though. Knight f3, b5 from Magnus, trying to launch an attack on this side of the board. Magnus just doesn't care in this game. It's 4 moves so far, and all 4 moves have been pawn moves. Kramnik just develops his piece, bishop d3. He's trying to play well. He's trying to play good. He's against the greatest player of all time. He has to play good chess, solid chess. Magnus launches another pawn, literally 5 moves. 5 pawns. Kramnik takes the pawn, and then 6 moves into the game, Magnus moves his first minor piece. Kramnik castles, and Magnus just goes bishop b7. Just keeping an eye on the center. a4 from Kramnik, trying to chip away at this pawn structure, because if Magnus doesn't do anything, just develops a knight or something, then these pawns are going to start falling, and then he's going to be trading off the rooks. But obviously Magnus is not going to do any garbage like that. Magnus just pushes the pawn forward. Best move, and then he can clamp down on the position after this knight moves. Knight retreats. Magnus doesn't clamp down yet. He goes f6 with his knight just to develop a piece, attacking this pawn in the center because it's attacked twice and only defended once. Kramnik defends the pawn with his knight. Best move was to actually just push, and then the knight jumps over here. Magnus plays d6 just to prevent the pawn from being pushed, because if it's pushed now, then it's not very good for white. White recaptures. Then this knight's just not looking very good, because after this, black has a little bit of a lead and advantage, because there's more pieces developed, and what's this knight doing? And now has to retreat again. Kramnik goes queen e2. Just aligning with the king, and Magnus doesn't castle, but he brings his knight to d7. Just developing his last minor piece, and now we can think about getting castled. Kramnik a5 with a pawn. Just stopping maybe this push, because that would have been quite good for black if he could have cemented these pawns at one point. And then Magnus, surprising move, he doesn't castle still. He plays queen c7. I guess the idea here is with this move is he wants to keep on the diagonals and maybe start pushing these pawns and get an attack going on that side of the board. Kramnik just goes bishop d2. Kramnik's not really attacking anything with this. It just develops his last piece. And now firing range, h5. The pawns are coming slowly but surely. Bishop g5 from Kramnik. If this takes, then this takes. And then this takes and this takes. Kind of a mistake from white, because now the whole aisle with all the diagonals is open, which makes me think I don't really understand the point of this move. I don't know why it's the best move. That's why they're top GMs, bro. And this line actually does happen, so the knight gets taken, the knight gets traded off, the pawn takes, and then he takes and opens it up. It's kind of not what you want in white's position, because now there's a big attack on this side of the board. Maybe the king's safety is not very good, but you could just tuck in e7 and it will be completely fine. So given all of this pressure, Kramnik takes the pawn. That seems just crazy to me, because now, like, the king could just castle this side, and then look at these 2 rooks on this side of the board. Like, this is just destruction, surely. Surely the black is at least like a +2. Maybe not. Smart move here, getting the king to safety, e7. Now the king is kind of untouchable, unless the queen can maybe get in this square, but that's easily defended. Kramnik goes back with the knight, realizes that the knight's doing nothing there on that square, and it's just a liability once the queen moves. And then Magnus plays a cool move here. Rook h4, that's a nice move. Clearly he wants to double up the rooks, which is nice. And then it's getting a bit iffy to defend this stuff. h3, anticipating the double up of the rooks. And then Magnus plays g8, which threatens this, but it's easily defended by this kind of a wasted move by Magnus there. Maybe a better move was... The only move that keeps an advantage here is f5, because if white takes, then there's queen c6. That's nasty. And if the queen blocks, you just take, and then you're up a pawn for no reason. And then maybe the rooks are coming in again. And if they try and block like this, you just sack the rook. And then it's still the same thing. You're winning an exchange. So in this position, Magnus then plays f5. Just one move too late, but still the best move now. And then Kramnik tries to just take this pawn in the corner. But this is like a missed opportunity. It causes the game to go a lot in black's favor, because Magnus can just ignore this over here. Doesn't matter that he may have a passed pawn, because he's got a few pieces defending it. And he just takes the pawn in the center. Kramnik recaptures the bishop, and Magnus recaptures the knight, attacking the queen. This position's only 1 pawn away from like a massive explosive attack. Kramnik goes queen h5, getting his queen out of the attack from the rook, and also maybe creating some sort of danger. Magnus plays rook d4. This move restores equality. The move that he wanted here was f4 and just start going after these pawns. And then maybe there was some discoveries. And then Kramnik plays king h1 blunder. Because now Magnus has a killer move. Can you spot it? Can you see it? Boom. Which attacks both this. And that's what Magnus plays. Nice move, dude. Best move is g1. Instead, Kramnik plays queen f3, which offers a trade of queens. Magnus doesn't take the queen. He takes the bishop because of free piece. And then Kramnik plays c3. Now Black's completely winning. Kramnik's probably thinking, what engine is Magnus using? The funny thing about this whole, like, silly cheating scandal with Kramnik is Magnus Carlsen is the only person in the world that has literally never been accused by these people. They accuse every single person. Magnus plays better than every one of them, and he's never... Isn't it just crazy that he is literally the best player in the world and nobody is even suspicious a slight bit about him? I just love that. That's so cool. Imagine having that sort of power in the chess world. It's just crazy. Magnus recaptures the pawn and Kramnik recaptures with the queen. Now an interesting move. Bishop b4. Allowing a check, but at the same time the bishop is super strong and maybe these pawns are going to be captured. Kramnik checks and the most natural move, king goes f6. Kramnik once again wants a queen trade, and Magnus this time accepts the queen trade. Pawn takes, and this pawn is kind of... How is that surviving? After this and this, like, how is that pawn hanging on? Magnus plays rook b8 straight towards attacking this pawn. Kramnik defends the pawn, but then there's so many ways to attack this pawn again. Magnus plays d6, and it's kind of game over. He actually wins on time here. Magnus had 40 seconds left on the clock. Bear in mind that this is an increment, but he knows that he's in a losing position, so at this point he just kind of gives up, which is, I mean, understandable, I guess, because there's no protecting this pawn. If he pushes, he loses his rook. He tries to do anything else, like, he literally has nothing. So the game ends there. Magnus played 88.8% and Kramnik played 81.8%. He kind of got destroyed. Like, from the start, when Magnus was playing the Mimi openings, after he started making like a few good moves, it just slowly went down and down and down, and then it was restored to a draw, and then it went down, 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 draw, down, 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 down. Kind of game over. The point of this video is Kramnik accuses every single person on the chess platform, it seems, of cheating. But the one person that he hasn't accused that has beaten him every single time, 3 matches they've had, every single time Magnus has beat him, and every single time Kramnik has lost on time, every single time against Magnus. They played a 98.1% game and a 98.3% game in 51 moves. It's literally like Stockfish. Magnus and Kramnik have played a bunch of classical games over the years, and Magnus is 6-5 with 16 draws, so he's winning 6 games to 5. Who knows if these two ever play again in a classical format? I'm sure they will, but there ain't no chance that Kramnik is beating Magnus. Kramnik is getting older and older. Magnus remains as strong as he's ever been. Maybe he's not in his peak, but he's still unbeatable. What do you guys think about all this cheating scandal stuff between Kramnik, Danya? What do you think? Let me know. Have a good day. See you later. Bye.